The government has identified broad priorities for transformation. The implementation and coordination of these actions will be done by a public sector transformation implementation team led by Mrs. Maria Thompson Walters and consisting of professionals wholly and totally dedicated to ensuring that the agreed actions are implemented on time. In addition, the public sector implementation team will need the services of specialists in communication, definitely, law and industrial relations. The public sector implementation team will have the overall responsibility for coordinating the entire universe of transformation activities across ministries, departments, agencies, and to escalate to my office any areas where there are obstacles. Public sector transformation is so central to the agenda of this government that we have put in place a public monitoring body launched in November last year, the Public Sector Transformation Oversight Committee. PSTOC's role is to monitor compliance and report to the government and report to the public as well. Public sector transformation will be based on focused reforms with measurable outcomes that will unfold in many phases with the necessary consultation with stakeholders. The phased approach mitigates against analysis paralysis. Also, a phased approach will generate lessons at each step along the way that can improve the process of the transformation going forward. And it gives us a chance to have ongoing dialogue with the stakeholders. Jamaica finds itself today with a large number of public bodies, approximately 200 in total, with 200 boards, 200 executives, and the executive staff. And many of these public bodies are either overlapping in function and a few of them are non-functional. Some of them have reached their sunset. And so that contributes to the inefficiency of the public sector. The plan is to phase in mergers, outsourcing, divestment, and where necessary, closure of some public entities. Public sector entities will be merged where there are overlaps in the services provided. Public sector entities will be closed where the entity has reached its sunset. Public sector entities will be outsourced or divested where it is determined that the private sector can deliver the service more effectively. As mergers and closures occur and shared services are implemented, there will inevitably be some job displacements. But also, there will be opportunities for growth and a more efficient government that delivers more with less and that supports the growth of the users of the service. I want to make an important statement. The objective of public sector transformation is not to cut jobs. In the restructuring, yes, there will be some jobs that will have to be displaced. But that is not the objective. We are not going into this thing to slash the civil service and get rid of the public sector workers. That's not the objective. The objective is to make the public sector more efficient such that it becomes less of a cost to the private sector, so that the private sector can become more efficient, so that it can create more jobs, so that it can actually take on more employment, which will actually come from the public sector, because a lot of skills exist in the public sector which could support growth in the private sector. That's the objective. So where mergers happen and closures happen and job losses there are inevitable, then the government has a duty having taken on this responsibility to transform, to ensure that there is some equity, that those who are affected can have access to retraining, and that there is an outplacement system in place that supports the transition into private sector employment.